Yo, welcome back to the channel everyone. This is just that video that I mentioned in the last one, just basically going over why I bought the R1, why I sold the MT-09 within like 3-4 months. We're just going to ride to the road we normally ride at the Twisty Road, so I just thought I'd get out and try and get this video. It is pretty sunny. It was cloudy a little bit before, but I swear every time I film a video there is a plane. So basically I'm just going to go through why I sold it, the reasoning, insurance for this, because I know some people were asking in the comments in the previous video about it. So we'll jump on the bike and we'll head out and we'll have a little chat while we ride to the Twisties, and then the next video will be me at the Twisties. So hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I am short, so this bike is quite tall. Alright, so I got the cinematic shots, that's good. The reasoning behind buying an R1, so probably like 4 years ago I bought an R3, my first ever bike. I had that for 3 months, and ever since I bought the R3 I've always wanted a sports bike. Like when you get into motorbikes, the first thing you think about is like MotoGP and like the sports bikes, like the Ducati, the V4s, like the R1. And I've always wanted either a V4, R1, S1000, just a sports bike in general. And I bought the MT-09 because my budget at the time was 20 grand. And everywhere I looked, R1s secondhand were like 24, 26, and they had like 10,000 Ks on them. So I was like, I'm not going to spend that much and buy a secondhand bike. A brand new R1 cost 29.3, I think. Could pick up a demo one, but I just was like, I'm not going to spend that much on a secondhand bike with that many Ks. So my budget was 20. I just got off my Ps, so I got my full license, and a couple of my buddies had MT-09s, and I was like, they sound good. They for what we do through like the Twisties, we normally just go out a Sunday and go through the Twisties, and that's basically it. The MT-09 is perfect for that. My brother-in-law ended up getting a 1100 factory, and he ended up getting sick, so I had to take his bike to get serviced up in Sydney. And when I dropped the bike off, this was sitting out the front, and I was like, oh, that looks so nice. I'm like, I asked the dealership, I was like, look, how many kilometers are on that bike out there, and how much was it? And the guy goes, oh look, it's got 1,000 kilometers on it. I've just put new tires on it. It's got crash protection, it's got a tail tidy. And I was like, alright, well how much do you want for it? He goes, blah 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 price. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty decent price for an R1, we'll say, like with 1,000 kilometers on it. Just keep in mind the brand new 29.3, so this is a 2022 model. So this had like 1,100 kilometers on it. I took it for a test ride and I just like fell in love with it. I'm like, yes, it's way too much power for the street, but you need to buy a bike that you like can look at, you like, and when you ride it, you love it. And looking at this over like a naked bike, there's nothing wrong with the looks of the MT-09, but it's just a sports bike obviously looks better. So it just randomly happened that they had an R1 out the front. I took my brother-in-law's Aprilia to get serviced, and he said, look, I'll hold it for you for a month, give you time to sell your bike. And I was like, alright, that's pretty good. So I put a deposit down, and then a lady messaged me on Bike Sale. Shout out to Tracy. She come from down the coast, test rode it, loved it. Next day I dropped it off to her, and everything just fell into place. Like there's nothing wrong with the MT-09. It's the most fun I've had on the bike. And I've rode Aprilia, I've rode the Buell, I've rode the MT-07. Like I've had a little bit of different bikes. I've rode different bikes. Like the MT-09 power delivery and just how much fun the MT-09 actually is ridiculous. Like I reckon it's the most fun I've ever had on a bike. And if I wasn't such a person, like, so into sports bikes, I think I would have kept the MT-09 because it was like, it was a really good bike. But if you've got an MT-09 and you're looking at getting a sports bike, and if you're kind of, I wouldn't say young, but I just figured while I'm young, get the R1, so like I don't have to get a bad back. And because I'm a shorter rider, I haven't had any back problems or wrists. The only problems I've had so far is just the seat being really hard as a sports bike. But yeah, so that's the only reason why I got rid of the MT-09. I reckon the MT-09 is probably one of the best bikes you could probably get in the nakeds. Like, I've heard the MT-10's weighs like 220. You're probably like a Super Duke. Again, you're going up another 10 grand. Like for 19 grand or 18, whatever I paid for it, like you can't go wrong with an MT-09. It's such a fun bike. So yeah, that's the main reason why I got rid of it. Like I didn't get rid of it because I didn't like it. Like I absolutely love the MT-09. It's just I've always wanted a sports bike, and this come up. I was originally wanted to be like my dream bike's like a black V4 SP2, like, and the R1s. I like absolutely love the R1s. So I picked it up, sold the MT-09. But yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it. I got a question about insurance. The insurance for this bike, when I was doing quotes online, it was coming in at like 2,100 Australian dollars, and I thought that was like pretty high. And I ended up going through like NRMA, where I have all my other vehicles. It is quite windy. I'm just going to pick this back up when we get around this corner up here where it dies down to like... Alright, you should be able to hear me now. Hopefully all that back there hasn't been... the wind hasn't been crazy, but yeah, so I went through like just online, just getting quotes for it, and it was like 2,400, and I was like, shit, that's pretty expensive. So we ended up going through all like my cars and everything else are insured through NRMA, and we ended up going through that, and I think it cost me... well, because I had the insurance for the MT-09, I just rolled over, so it cost me like $100 till February, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to be maybe 1,200, 1,100, which I think that's pretty reasonable. I think the MT-09 was about 900, so I'm pretty happy with that. If you are looking at getting an R1, I would definitely go where your vehicles are insured, or get quotes, actually call up and get actual quotes. I was just doing it online. So you'll be able to get a much better, like a proper estimate, not just a rough one. So you'll be able to get a proper price really. So I would do that. Fuel wise, I think the fuel up is like $35, and I get about, if I'm riding hard, the fuel light comes on about 170, 160. If I'm just riding normal, it comes on about 180. And then there's about 37 in the reserve. So it chews up fuel, which I guess it's a sports bike. But plans for this thing, like future mods, I basically want an exhaust. I just don't know which one I want yet. My buddy's sending me an exhaust now, like just an eBay one, while I'm deciding. I like the Sparkit, I like the Acura, and I like the SC. Bloody Siri coming on. But yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm going to put on. I was thinking more Acro and maybe leave the DB killer ring, because I don't want it to be super loud. So this like eBay one that he's sending over, the KO exhaust, is going to be a good reference to see how loud the actual exhaust is. But yeah, exhaust, carbon. I'm going to get carbon at the front, carbon on the back. I'm going to rewrap it, Rizoma mirrors, new grips, levers, just like all the standard mods. I reckon just gonna turn the bike into like a carbon and maybe like a white R1. I'm not sure yet exactly what color we're gonna go. Might leave the blue, but yeah, a lot of carbon pieces. What else? That's basically really it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is basically just, yeah, a little update why I got the R1, and yeah, hopefully you stick around, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace. Make sure you ride safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, ride safe. Talk to you soon.